Everyone wants in on the X game. Here's a couple of the quads that I've already built and a couple of the ones I've already reviewed. And now, welcome to the game, Diatone, with your Crusader 225. This is the Diatone Tyrant 180 frame, and I've had extremely good luck with this. Even though I still have not replaced my junky motors here, it still flies excellent, and I actually got a replacement motor for the one that's squealing, which I just haven't put on because the squealing one still works. But anyway, this has been an excellent quadcopter. I started off using 40-45 bullnose props, then I stepped up to these tri-blade 40-45 blades. They're not bullnose, but they have a little bit better low-end torque than the dual blade, than the two blade ones do, so I've kept these on here. This has the adjustable camera that's real easy to adjust. You can push it back or lean it back forward pretty easily. So if you're trying to fly faster at a fast course, you can lean it back. You can point it forward a little bit at a short course if you want, and makes for excellent all-around quadcopter. So this is the Diatone 180. So when the Tyrant 180. So when Diatone announced their Crusader frames, I had to get one. The only thing was I'm not 100% sold on 4-inch props. I still think 4-inch props are awesome, and I know some people are really fast with them. But I think for the average person flying against other average pilots, I think the 5-inch propellers are hard to beat, especially if you have 4-inch propellers. So for this one, I have the Crusader 225, and this one is supposed to be able to spin 5-inch props. And it comes in a package like this, and it's vacuum sealed, which is kind of interesting. I also have the video transmitter that's made for this frame. Now, if you buy one, you need to make sure you understand what you're getting in your kit, because you pay more, you get more, you pay less, you get less. So anyway, I'm gonna get this open and we'll take a look at it. Jeez. This thing has a lot of bags in it. It came with some cool Crusader stickers, which are kind of nice, and it has a regular set of Diatone stickers. They're a little bit mashed up from being vacuum suctioned, but that's okay. This one also comes with a manual. That is so nice that they actually give you a manual. A lot of companies have started doing this more and more just because their builds have, I think, have just been getting more complicated. So hopefully this is useful. Oh, look at this. It's a color manual. Nice. But I think they've started doing this because their builds have gotten more and more complex, which, you know, you kind of have to if you're going to make them complex builds. A couple of things I noticed right away. It has a power distribution board, which is going to be very nice for the wiring. Also comes with a couple battery straps, which are good. It looks like it has 4mm arms here, so we'll measure those in a little bit, and a rear LED back here. So let's get this thing started. On this, I'm putting the battery strap through this main plate, and then these arms cover it up. And these arms have been chiseled out just a little bit right here. So when they go on here, it's actually going to cover up the battery strap, which is good that it's all tight together, but you got to be careful not to rip your battery strap, because if you do, you'll be taking this quad apart. So here's the Crusader 225 assembled, and this is kind of a tedious build, mostly because it has all these spacers in here and these giant long screws like this that go up through the board, well, through the bottom board, through the arm, through the little power distribution separator board, through the power distribution board itself, through a spacer. Then there's supposed to be your flight board is supposed to sit in there, then another spacer, then the video transmitter, and another spacer, and then it through the little camera mount top plate here, and then up finally into these little metal holders here, and you can kind of see it's that little black bar right there, and that is what the screw, what this big long screw actually screws into. And then it has a couple little pieces that pop up off of that are screwed into with these two screws right here, and that's what holds the top down. So there's two screws over here that go into that metal piece, and then the screws from the bottom go into that metal piece, and it's the same on both sides. And then the two side plates are held together by the three little spacers here. And so it's actually pretty slick. It's a slick build, and it's also tedious. If you don't have the actual Diatone components like the Diatone flight board, then you can't use these little quick connects that are down there. And the Diatone board comes with those to make it easy, just like the Tyrant did. Now, I didn't get the right flight board for this, my bad, but I'm going to have to order it and get it put in here. Now, when you're putting it together, it tells you to put these two nuts in right here, at the very beginning, and I'm sure that's because this power distribution board covers it up, or not, the video transmitter board covers it up, because none of the other ones, it doesn't tell you to put in these other screws in until the very end, and you can really put those in whenever you wanted to, which would have been nice. But this has the adjustable camera mount in here, just like the other one does. You have to get it kind of set where you want it before you start putting the side plates on, because now there's no access to tighten that screw inside here to make this tighter or looser. But that's, I guess, not too big of a deal. It also has these extra holes kind of cut right here. You can see 2 of them there, and then there's 2 of them down here. And I'm not sure what those 4 holes are for, except for maybe another camera mount, but it didn't come with another camera mount. But it did come with this LED board on the back that also has the quick connects on here. You can kind of see there it says ground and 12 volt. And you can also change the colors of them with these little dip switches. So it comes with that, but those aren't the right space to fit into here. So I think maybe those are for a different camera mount that they didn't include with the build, I guess. But it has all these purple screws that screw up through the bottom, which I think makes it look a lot better than just plain black screws if you like purple, because you can also get the purple propellers to put on this and help it all match a little better. Video transmitter board I'm using here, it has the video connector here, and if you look at it, it's at a slight angle. Well, maybe it's not quite as much angle as I thought, but it has enough clearance there, hopefully, that you can get the video transmitter or video antenna onto this without hitting up against this post here. And you're going to have one that kind of bends just a little bit to reach, around this board. But then it's also going to come up right in front of a couple of your LEDs, which, I don't know, it kind of stinks that it's like that, but that's the only way it is, unless they would have moved it over to the center somehow. But then you'd lose out on the having the little LED light there to figure out what channel you're on. And also, if you look real close, you can see right there is the button to change the frequency that you're transmitting on. This also has a built-in buzzer. It comes soldered onto the power distribution board here. And there's also, if you look in there, that's the little quick connect in there for another buzzer board. You also have 12 volts out here, full volts, and whoa, there we go. 12 volts, full volts, and 5 volts of if you need another power connector there. On here on the side, it's kind of nice. It has the positive and the signal next to each other for your ESC, and on this side it has negative and negative that's for your power, and that's for the negative on the ESC wire, and it has that on all 4 of them, so that you don't have to run any wires up underneath there. So like I said, if you use the Diatone power flight board that I'll have a link to in the description, then you should be able to use all the quick connects on this board, and it should be real easy to wire. The other thing you're going to need is the quick connect for the camera, so you can't use your own camera unless you want to solder the connections on, which isn't too big of a deal, but you can solder the connections on yourself if you wanted to use the a camera that's not the one that's made for this. There's enough extra screws here that I was a little bit worried that I actually may have missed something. These are the real long screws that came with, that I'm using on the frame right now, and these screws here are almost 27.5, maybe 27.5 millimeters long. They're pretty long screws. Haven't seen them this long before. Like I said, there's enough screws here that I was kind of worried I may have missed something, but I don't see anything on here that would actually say that I missed anything putting it together. Real quick, also on this power distribution board, you have these capacitors on here, and these are supposed to help with the motors spin at such a high kV they can generate electricity and push it back through the ESC and cause power surges into your power distribution board. And that's how a lot of people have been frying their cameras, but it hasn't happened to me yet. But they put these capacitors on here to eliminate that, so the voltage that goes through this won't ever exceed, the normal voltage on the inside, so that it won't be able to power spike through that into your power distribution board and fry your components. Also, back here on the back is where you have the positive and negative, where you would solder on your battery cable to plug into your battery. Let's get some measurements off of this frame. The arms are 4 millimeters thick. If you run 5-inch props on this, which you should if you got to do 25, it should have no problem spinning them, and you won't have any problem breaking them either. These side plates are 1.5, and this bottom plate here on the very bottom is 2 millimeters thick. The power distribution board and the other board together are 2.1, so it's probably a 2mm power distribution board with a little plate inside there to keep the power distribution board from shorting to the frame. Using Diatone's flight board, you'll be able to squeeze it in here down here in the lower section between two of the spacers. And if you're not using their power distribution board or their flight board, well, good luck getting anything to fit in there, because it's going to be really tight fit, and by not using their stuff, you're going to have to do a lot of soldering, and it's going to be rough. You're better off using the flight board that's made for this. I believe it's a Naze32 Rev 6. So here's the Crusader 225 sitting next to the Diatone Tyrant 180, and you can see this thing is already a lot bigger than this, which it should be, since this is 180 and this is 225. So here, I'll go ahead and get this lined up semi close to the middle there. If we come over here, you can see it actually, wow, it's almost exactly 225. So when they called it 225, they weren't kidding. So here's the frame with the video transmitter board in there, and it comes in about 164.9. The 4 little plastic landing gear pieces add on another 20.8 grams. The arms here are cut out for 2200 size motors or 1806. If you're going to run 1806 on 5-inch props, you're probably going to get a little bit longer flight time, but you're not going to have the power that some 2200 size motors would give you. Here's a 5-inch propeller, and you can see this thing is easily going to be clearing all the components in there. It's not even going to come close to the capacitor here, and also when you put it up on the motor, it's going to be have even more clearance up here. And the nice thing about these frames is there's not a lot of meat on this arm width-wise to slow down the wind, because as this comes over, it's going to have to push wind down around the arm, which, you know, I'm a little bit skinnier here. It helps it be able to push past it. Well, overall, this is a pretty slick frame. I think as long as you know that you're going to have to be buying their video transmitter board and their Naze32 board, as long as you plan on that, this should be a pretty easy build. I mean, to put this together took a little bit longer than what I'm used to, just because I was following directions and I had all these spacers and long screws to deal with. But I don't think it's, like, you know, impossible. And also the frame build will be nothing when, you know, in the overall build process compared to other ones that I've built. Anyway, this is the Crusader 225. This comes from Diatone, and if you have any questions about it, you are more than welcome to leave them in the comments, and I will try to help you out as best I can. And as always, thanks for watching.